Quote, "We need to stiffen our spines and lean in to keeping people safe and healthy." Governor Newsom says his recall success proves Democrats need to get tougher with COVID restrictions so there can be peace.
Awesome.
They're going to give us
That
these
last part I
restrictions
added,
forever.
that wasn't in the headline. But yeah, so basically what happened was since the recall failed, Gavin Newsom stood up before the state legislature in California and says, "The attempt on my governorship has left me scarred and deformed, and I will reform California into the first, state empire."
It's just
I'm
not
kidding,
the
but
government's responsibility to keep us safe. That's not their job. That's not what they've been tasked to do by the voters. That's not what they were tasked to do by, the founding fathers, who all managed to find themselves in the same place at the exact right time.
But here's the issue. They tried to recall Newsom, and a bunch of conservatives said he's going to now punish the people of California with harsher lockdowns, and he's doing it.
And he's going to. I mean, right after the election, that's when LA put in place their Vax Pass rules.
Yep.
They waited till right after the election.
I got to be honest. I really do think that Newsom was sitting in his office like this, looking at the TV. And then when CNN was like, Wolf Blitzer comes on, it looks like a landslide victory for Newsom. He went,
Yes.
That's how I imagine
I
the
can
guy.
see it, yeah.
That's a really good evil villain laugh.
I was just trying to imitate
great.
Dr. Evil,
Dr.
right?
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he
Gorgeous.
did.
Yeah, that's
That's the
good.
way
Yeah.
Tim laughs.
And then everyone around him's like, ha ha, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine it. Because now he's like, you just imagine Gavin Newsom looking over, who's the lieutenant governor? And he's like, "Can we put more lockdowns on Los Angeles? Let's punish the people there. Let's make them really hurt. That would be fun,
I think
wouldn't
that's
it?"
what de Blasio is doing. I think he's
Oh, yeah.
intentionally
I can see it.
punishing New York City.
Did they ever get the sand out of the skate park?
They did.
Oh, Jesus.
They did?
Yeah. That was
okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised skateboarders didn't show up with leaf blowers and start blowing it out. But they did go there and sweep and
I feel like
start skating
vacuum
anyway.
would be more effective.
Yeah.
But isn't it how crazy is it that people still want to live in these places? I guess the issue is a dumb population is an easily controlled population.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would willingly move to New York at this point, or California, or really any of these
Or Illinois.
places.
I was talking to a family member, and my family's in Chicago, and they said it's miserable, it's awful.
Oh,
it's worse than it's ever been. Like
Is
you
it
can't.
the crime, or is it
No, it's the
all of
lockdowns.
there's lockdowns in Chicago?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but I have family in the suburbs, and they're like, everyone's like, you can't go anywhere without a mask. They've got mandates popping up all over the place. The schools are freaking out. It's like authoritarian nightmare.
In Brooklyn, it's back to everybody walking around with masks on outside.
Yeah.
Like fools. And
And
I'm
in-
just walking around like a normal person without my mask on. Because why? Because I've done the vaccination. I've done the thing that they said. And it's never enough. It's never going to be enough.
Let's talk about two
doing
Americas.
the thing.
There's two Americas right now. In New York, people walk around outside wearing masks. In West Virginia, people walk around outside wearing their AR-15s. Which one
Yeah.
would you want to live in? No, I mean
No.
this seriously, though. Obviously, not everybody in West Virginia is walking around with like a rifle and they're like looking around. But there are people who do that. We went to, we were driving through Virginia. And Virginia's not a good example, but we were on our way to central West Virginia. And there's like people at restaurants and they're strapped. They got their guns and stuff. And so you think about the two different Americas. The people in New York would probably scream and freak out.
Oh, they
if
would freak out.
Yeah.
They would freak out.
Like there's that photo of a guy and he's got a
You're
bazooka.
not allowed to like carry guns in New York. You're not allowed to have concealed. You're not allowed to carry
Well,
openly. There's
unless,
none of that.
Unless you're an agent of the state.
Right.
yeah.
If
Which
you're
they
the
like.
Yeah. The
So-
cops are allowed to.
When I'm in, people have asked me like, if I was in West Virginia and I saw a guy walking around with like a bunch of guns and like an AR-15 and like a shotgun, would you like run? What would you do? And I'd be like, I probably wouldn't think anything at all. I wouldn't. I'm like, that guy's got guns. Now, if he had like carrying a ton of guns, I would especially not worry. You know why? He's not going to be able to move around. So like you see someone with a gun, I'm like, I see people driving cars all the time. I never expect a car to veer off the road and slam into me.
You know
I
what's
don't
funny
expect
is-
a person to pull out a gun and shoot at me.
I always expect the car to veer off the road and get me.
No,
like-
that's New York, I guess, right?
No, I mean, even just driving. I've only had my license for literally a year. But yeah, when I drive around, I think like it would be so easy to kill me right now.
Isn't that crazy?
People
be
could just go.
simple.
I used to, when I was a kid, I'd be like, what if everyone in the world wanted to, all of a sudden just wanted to kill me? How long could I survive?
5 seconds, like 5
yeah,
seconds.
yeah. There's nowhere to.
not
No,
long.
we're so vulnerable. We're incredibly vulnerable creatures.
That's why we need exosuits like
Yes.
Gundams. And that's what we should do. All of the profits from Timcast Media will be funneled into an R&D project for building the first mobile suit Gundam. And then when the Antifa shows up to my house, I'll be like, ha fly off into space.
What it really means is that we have to accept risk as a component of existence. We
Yeah.
need to be relatively fearless in the face of that. We need to know that we're going to die, that we can't just be protected all of the time. We need to accept that. We need to revel in it. And we need to step out our front doors willingly and accept all of that, accept that we're not safe and that it's fine. It's fine to not be safe.
Yes, but
it's good to take risks. If we don't take risks, that we have no reward.
But this is the issue is that, of course, we know that. Of course, the people watching know this, but the cult doesn't care.
No.
Like, they want to win. They want to crush you. It's fun.
But look at what they want. They want to go to school they want to have secondary and whatever education for free. If they've paid for it, they want that money back, or they want to not have to pay for it. They want rent to be fully covered. They want the government to pay out money endlessly if you don't have a job, or if you just don't want to get a job or whatever. They want to require businesses to pay certain wages, higher than the current minimum wage. They want to do all of these things in order to control society, in order to regulate how everybody is to live their lives. And there's no room to, where are the artists going to come from? Where are the entrepreneurs going to come from? Where are the explorers going to come from? The left has completely forgotten that in our hearts, we are a race of explorers.
NFTs.